Welcome into One-on-One on Sunlink Channel 112, live from Studio 318. I'm Reed Simster, joined by my co-host Logan Mosier. As always, we missed Monday. It was brutally cold, or at least as they told us. It wasn't that cold.
I think it was just as cold yesterday.
Yeah, but we got the day off nonetheless from school anyway.
I still enjoyed it. I shouldn't complain. I enjoyed the day off.
I did as well. So we're going to be playing a little bit of catch-up on headlines from over the weekend and also some new headlines. We'll start in the National Football League. By the way, in the second segment, we're going to make a call to the bullpen, and then the starters will inevitably have to come back out to get the lead back, as always. But the Jaguars are expected to sign Nick Foles next week. Obviously can't start talking to him until March 11th.
Right.
Can't get a deal done until the new league year, March 13th. So in your mind, is this a done deal for him to Jacksonville?
I think so. I think once Denver traded for Joe Flacco, that kind of
wait, say that again.
Denver traded for Joe Flacco. That kind of killed the market for him to be tagged and traded. So I think the Eagles thought, this guy brought us a Super Bowl. Everyone in Philly loves him, yada, yada, yada. We might as well let him go get as much money as he possibly can, because I'm not sure about all the ins and outs of the NFL CBA, but I'm pretty sure he can get more money from Jacksonville than he could if he were tagged by Philadelphia. So I think they kind of did him a solid, which I think he earned. He won him a Super Bowl, probably one of the best underdog victories of the past couple of years. So he's definitely a legend in Philadelphia forever. He will forever be loved there. Sadly, he will not be able to retire there. Well, I shouldn't say that. He might come back for a third stint, but he's not going to end his career there as of right now. So I only see Jacksonville as a landing spot for him at this point, because I'll say it again, Reed. Denver traded for Joe Flacco. So I think Jacksonville's the only landing spot.
Denver did trade for
Joe Flacco.
For Joe Flacco. Now
he was elite.
Yeah, you can still go get Blake Bortles. You can have 3 quarterbacks on the roster.
Reed, I will not do this show with you next semester if Denver somehow gets Blake Bortles. I will have to leave the country.
If the Broncos had Blake Bortles, Case Keenum, and Joe Flacco all on a roster and paid almost $60 million for those 3, which would obviously never happen, but we would bump this show up to 5 days a week, and it would be a Denver show specifically. Yeah. And I would laugh for 3 straight segments. I would love it. But Jacksonville, I mean, there's not a huge free agent market. I mean, listen, I like Nick Foles. He obviously won a Super Bowl, but the guy can't play from September to November. He cranks it up after Thanksgiving when it matters most. Jacksonville made to the AFC Championship game, struggled a ton. They just hired John Filippo, who was his quarterback's coach in Philadelphia. Then he went to Minnesota as an OC. That was a disaster. They were dead in the water on offense this year. Leonard Fournette's a problem. Jalen Ramsey's a problem. I don't know if Tom Coughlin completely knows what he's doing down in Jacksonville. Yeah. Listen, I want to see Nick Foles have some success, but when he struggled early on in the season and he's had the things that he's had to deal with, and then you put him in Jacksonville, you can give him a multi-year deal. You can give him money. I don't think it matters. Nick Foles is not going to be. It's not going to be another success story down in Jacksonville.
I think there's a possibility it could, though. I mean, we saw it. We saw it twice with Philadelphia. They simplified their offense. It seems as though they only did what Nick Foles likes to do, which is probably a smart idea if you have a limited quarterback like Nick Foles is. But he has a big arm. He has a much better arm than Blake Bortles. I feel like he gets more different guys involved. He gets everyone involved in some way. He seems to spread the ball out pretty well. Like you said, Jalen Ramsey and Leonard Fournette can be big egos and they can be problems with the media, but Nick Foles is kind of the antithesis of that. He's the guy that everyone loves. Philadelphia loved him, and Philadelphia hates Santa.
That's true.
So if you can get the city of Philadelphia to love you.
Oh, have you ever gotten coal on Christmas morning?
I have not.
Well, let's see how you feel after that. Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting deal, but it looks like it is all but a done deal for Nick Foles to Jacksonville. So we had the franchise tags handed down. I'll run through the list. Obviously, the Chiefs franchise D Ford. 49ers franchise kicker Robbie Gould is going to be giving him $5 million a year.
Why? Why do you mean?
The Seahawks franchise tag defensive end Frank Clark. The Texans defensive end Jadeveon Clowney. And the Falcons franchise defensive tackle Brady Jarrett. No franchise tag list is almost more interesting to me. The Giants do not franchise tag Landon Collins. He's going to be walking away from New York. The Ravens linebacker C.J. Mosley, Vikings linebacker Anthony Barr, and Patriots defensive end Trey Flowers are all going to be out there on the market.
That's crazy.
Now Eric Weddle's released.
Yeah.
He's a 34-year-old safety. He's still got some good years left in him. The 6-time All-Pro. 3 years in Baltimore, was an All-Pro 3 straight years, had the number 1 defense in the league, won an AFC North title, had a lot of success there. Now you've got these, I'll ask you first on the list of the franchise players, what's the smartest move here as far as the 6 guys that were franchised?
I think Jadeveon Clowney. I think the tag was meant for a guy like him because he has great upside, but I don't feel like he's been able to put together 2 really good seasons to earn a long-term deal. So I feel like if the Texans want to give him a long-term deal, I think. So if he can prove himself this year, stay healthy, be productive, he'll get a long-term deal. And I think, for better or worse, that's what the tag is for, is to...
Right.
It's if you're not sure about a guy, but you don't want to full out give up on him.
And push those negotiations so a guy doesn't walk right there. It's almost the incentive that the NBA gives to, you get the max deal, you get more money if you stay with your team. I don't know about Jadeveon Clowney because you're right. He has a lot of upside. He's been hurt. There's potential there. He's been playing well in recent years. I wouldn't label him a bust yet, but I don't think he's played up
close, though,
to number 1 pick potential.
I agree.
Not a lot of number 1 picks do. How are they going to afford him and J.J. Watt on that defensive line?
That's true. That's
that's going to be an expensive deal.
It is. I feel like they've already cut corners on their offense at least as far as their O-line goes. They have one of the worst O-lines in the league, so you can't really cut any corners there. They're lucky to have Deshaun Watson on a rookie deal right now, so you wonder if they sign Clowney to a long-term deal, how are they going to be able to pay Watson? And then you look at DeAndre Hopkins and, like you said, J.J. Watt. It's a difficult situation, so maybe they're trying to just capitalize on this group while they have him now, keep Clowney for at least 1 more year, try to run it back, and maybe they'll just let him walk no matter how he does this year.
Well, it'll be interesting development. By the way, as I mentioned, kickers, did franchise tag.
That's so weird.
Robbie Gould, their kicker. The Chiefs franchise tag D Ford. They're still looking to trade him. It looks like they haven't officially released Justin Houston yet, but it looks like they're going to do that. They're playing a dangerous game, getting rid of 2 of their 3 best players on that side of the ball when that's the worst defense in the league.
I was about to say, Reed, how good are they if it was the worst?
It can't get any worse. It can't get any. You and I could start on that defense next year. I couldn't get any worse. It could not get any worse.
Yeah.
But there's some interesting. Landon Collins, I think, is an interesting storyline considering.
Absolutely.
They
had a trade for him reportedly at the deadline. A team was going to give them a first-round pick for Landon Collins, and the Giants wouldn't do it. So you got to wonder what changed from the deadline to now, where they're just letting him walk.
They're still the Giants that also kept Eli Manning for the last 3 years. So.
It's true.
The New York Giants haven't been exactly making the right decisions the past couple of years. And Eric Weddle, as I mentioned, is released. He's still got years left in him, so he's going to find a landing spot. If it's on a good team or not is yet to be seen. But now the storyline it's been the storyline all year, all offseason. Last season was the turmoil from the Pittsburgh Steelers with Le'Veon Bell. He's going to be a free agent. Now, it looks we go to deal with Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger, and he does a sit-down interview, and every time he talks, quite honestly,
the mustache.
Yeah,
the mustache.
Mr. Big Chest with the mustache. He like a blonde just for men.
Did you see him make fun of himself on Twitter? Posted a picture of him with his blonde mustache and then a walrus. I thought it was kind of funny.
I'm so done with Antonio Brown, and Larry Fitzgerald was critical of him as well. He said he didn't think he was going about it the right way. And what was interesting is Larry Fitzgerald's played with like 95 different quarterbacks, right? I'm not sure what the exact number is, but he's never. He had Kurt Warner there. They made it to a Super Bowl, but that was 3 years at most. Carson Palmer was never truly healthy. He has struggled with quarterbacks. That's what his point was. He doesn't know how good he's got at playing with the Hall of Famer Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah. So now it looks like the Steelers have a deal that's going to be done by Friday. That's what they're telling the teams he's going to be dealt. The teams are the Redskins, the Raiders, and the Titans. Marcus Mariota. The Redskins.
Half of Alex Smith?
Yeah. 3/4 Alex Smith.
They're going to draft a quarterback. Sorry,
you would think. You would think.
Who was Barrett telling us was the answer?
Colt McCoy.
Yeah, and Mark Sanchez.
And then he broke his leg, and Mark Sanchez didn't know the plays. So
19 quarterbacks for Larry Fitzgerald, by the way.
19 quarterbacks, and he's only had – Antonio Brown's had one, a Hall of Famer, Ben Roethlisberger. So the Titans, Marcus Mariota. the Raiders, Derek Carr, who cries on the field, cannot get the locker room behind him, and there's rumors that they want to deal him and go get a quarterback.
Yeah.
So that, and then the Redskins, I don't know who their quarterback is. Certainly don't think that Alex Smith's going to be able to play. There's no way he's going to be able to play, at least this year. Looks like Larry Fitzgerald might be right when they deal into these guys, because none of these guys are Hall of Fame caliber players.
Right. Yeah. If you're Antonio Brown, though, you can't be mad. This is the position you've put yourself in. He has destroyed his own trade value, going on doing all these interviews, saying all this stuff, talking about anything that comes to his mind. It has done him no good. The best thing he could have done was to maybe do one interview and say the right things in it and disappear until he was traded. But you can't be mad. And if you're the Steelers, you got to go get what's best. Like, if you started these trade negotiations with the intentions of putting Antonio Brown on the best possible team, that's just the wrong way to do it. I know everyone loves to take the player side and stuff, but the team has to set themselves up for success down the road too. And honestly, those are probably going to be good picks that they're getting from these guys.
Might get they could get a haul from the Raiders.
Yes.
Okay, who's the best team out of these three teams? What is the best landing spot for Antonio Brown? Not what's best for the Steelers, but what's best for Antonio Brown.
You mentioned the Titans, the Raiders, the Redskins, and what was the other team?
It's just down to those three.
It's down to those three?
That's what's reported.
Okay.
If there's the Jets and other teams are officially out on him.
Okay. So probably the Raiders. I know they were a big mess this year, but if we look back a couple of years ago at what Derek Carr was able to do, he almost won the MVP. He's the best quarterback on this list, no matter what you think about him now. And I think that's in part to John Gruden. I think John Gruden has kind of reversed Derek Carr's career a little bit. I think if you pair Antonio Brown with Derek Carr, you can find a lot of success. I know that's probably not going to be the guy if he ends up in Oakland. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade for, well, never mind. If they trade for Antonio Brown, they probably won't try and trade up and get Kyler Murray. But Antonio Brown and Derek Carr or whoever else they bring in, I think, would probably be the best fit.
Okay, so let's assume the best fit's the Raiders, right? Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. I think that's the best fit for him. What is John Gruden's mantra? Like, what's his attitude? He basically runs a 1998 NFL offense. Yeah. It's tough football. He loves football guys. He traded Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack because they want to be paid. So now we're going to bring in this diva
and
pay him. It makes no sense to me.
It seems like he's learned his lesson. Like he saw what Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper did on other teams when they were happy, and maybe he's kind of trying to right those two wrongs he did, trading away the best defensive player in the game probably, besides maybe Aaron Donald, and a number one wide receiver. So maybe he's trying to overcorrect and bring in probably a bigger diva than Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack combined in Antonio Brown. So I don't understand the philosophy, him suddenly being in on guys that want to be paid, kind of like what you're talking about. But, I mean, he's got to do something. They're dead in the water as an organization. You look at their future, it is not bright. They don't even know where they're playing half the time. They were going to San Francisco, now they're staying in Oakland, then they'll eventually be in Vegas. So they got to find some answers for an organization that's on the move soon.
All right, I asked you who the best fit was, how it would work with the Raiders. Ultimately, where does he land by Friday, if the deal's done by Friday?
I feel like he'll end up with the Raiders just because of all the picks they can offer to the Steelers. I think they have the most assets. I hate to draft picks are assets, but you don't know what they're going to be, so it's hard to value those accurately. But they have the most to offer, so I think he's going to end up in Oakland.
Well, it will be interesting, but he's certainly not going to be in a Pittsburgh uniform next year. So we're going to take a quick break, make a call to the bullpen. Those guys right up after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Tinker Federal Credit Union. Visit facebook.com/TinkerFCU. While you're there for your family, we're there for you. Tinker Federal Credit Union. And OSU Communications. Not sure where to park? OSU Communications has got you covered with parking tips and bus schedule information. We'll be right back.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of Downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.
Welcome back to the bullpen. We're warming up here on one-on-one, where the pitches are hot and the takes are hotter. I'm Jason Colicchio, joined by my co-host Barrett Guest, as always. How you doing today, Barrett?
Good, good. Long week, but
long week. We had off on Monday, like mentioned by Reed.
Yeah, it's
earlier.
still long, but
feels like Monday to me.
Baseball's
still.
getting
good.
Closer.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Every day is a new day. And so we're going to start off with the MLB standings, the projected MLB standings, by MLB.com here. So the NL. Let's start with the NL. And start with the NL East. Actually, we are. I know you're a big Nationals guy, so we're looking at the East here. Phillies and the Nationals tied at the top. What is your thoughts on that?
I said before, I don't think the Phillies are going to win the NL East.
All right.
I think 89 wins. I think it's going to be a good division. I mean, you have four teams, over fairly close, all within 5 games
over
of
80
each other.
wins.
Yeah, so I think it could be that type of division. I think the Braves might be better than the Mets.
And then there's the Marlins.
Yeah, and then there's the Marlins. I think it will be really competitive. I think that's. I don't know about. I think the winner of the division will probably hit 90.
Yeah.
But I do think it's going to be competitive. I think the top 4 might, or at least the top 3 will be within 6 games of each other.
Then we go to the Central, and
this,
Cubs are nowhere to be seen in the Central.
This is a little surprising. I think the Brewers will win the division.
Brewers are very good.
They are
St. Louis has gotten some pieces.
St. Louis is good. I think the Cubs. I don't think they'll win the division, but I think 70. I think they'll be above 500. I think the
Pirates are worse than the Cubs, to be honest with you.
I think the Reds are too.
The Reds, that's surprising, also 81 and 81. Maybe that's the Yasiel Puig effect coming in.
Yeah, I think the Brewers get over 90. I think St. Louis gets mid-80s, and I think the Cubs are around St. Louis, maybe slightly above.
Yeah. Now we're heading out to our friends in the West. Now the NL West, it's the Dodgers. It's the Dodgers division to lose.
It really is.
Padres, Giants, Diamondbacks, they're all, obviously Padres with Machado, but they're all not ready.
Not great.
They're not ready to make that push until October.
The Rockies are a good team. I wouldn't be surprised if they hit a wild card spot, but the Dodgers.
By their standings, they're definitely getting there.
Yeah, there's no reason the Dodgers shouldn't win this division. I mean, they're far and away the best team.
In that division.
Yeah.
They are projected to win the pennant, the NL pennant.
Yeah, I wouldn't be 3 years in a row. I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah. But let's move on to the AL, my favorite division.
Yeah.
The AL East, more specifically, we have the Red Sox and the Yankees. The Yankees are favored to be at the top.
Yeah, this surprises. Not that the Yankees are that they have the Yankees winning, but that they have the Yankees 7 games
ahead.
Over. I think the Red Sox are still. I mean, obviously defending World Series champions. I think. And also, what surprised me is that they don't have anyone hitting 100 wins. I think Houston maybe hit 100. I think all Boston and New York might.
I think
also.
The East, Central, and West all top will hit 100.
You think so? I don't know about Cleveland. Their division is very.
That's
Their division is really bad.
The East,
the East is tough.
The East once again being the powerhouse of the American League.
Yeah.
With obviously the division winner and then both wild card spots.
If you look at the AL, there's really
not that many.
It's a top 4.
Yeah.
And then maybe you have like a big drop off, then like 2 or 3 teams with like Minnesota, Tampa, maybe the Angels, and then another drop off. And you have some of the worst teams.
Orioles, the only team with 100 losing projected record.
Yeah,
we move to the Central now. The Indians, they are a good team.
They're good. I think 96 makes sense because
much like the Dodgers, this is their division to lose probably.
Yeah, they're
Kansas City's just lost Salvador Perez. White Sox are not good. Detroit is not good.
Minnesota's they're all right.
Minnesota, I'm expecting more than 82 wins from Minnesota.
I'd say more, 85, 86.
80, yeah, a little, maybe even 90.
Maybe.
Maybe they get that second wild card spot like last year.
They could be.
And then the West, the Astros yet again getting that top spot, and then followed by a little bit of a
empty
the Astros space.
Astros, they'll win. They'll hit 100. I think their division's not great.
They're close. They're 2 wins away.
Seattle and Texas and Oakland are.
Yes, sorry to Robin Hearn and her brother Taylor, but actually, it might be a good thing that they lose more. He might get some more time in the majors this year. That'd be good.
Exciting.
We would love to see that.
We would.
So we're sticking with the Dodgers now. We're talking about the injuries, little injury prone going into the start of the season here. Kershaw, he's got soreness in his left shoulder. He's very questionable, according to David Roberts, for the opener against the Diamondbacks. Their star shortstop, Corey Seager, very good young player.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Corey Seager. He is still recovering from his Tommy John from last year, though, unfortunately. He is also questionable for opening day. And then we have more pitchers. Ross Stripling is battling an illness. He's got a lung illness. Also questionable for the opener. And Kenley Jansen is battling elbow soreness after his first spring training game a couple days ago. This is a lot of hits to their pitching staff.
Yeah, I think looking at it, it's kind of upsetting if you're a Dodgers fan. Obviously, you got all these injuries, but I don't think it'll hurt them in the long run. I mean, Seager, you kind of expected him to be out, and he's still young, should make a recovery. I think he'll be fine later on in the season. I think Stripling, that's not. I mean, obviously,
it's only an illness.
Yeah, eventually it should go away.
Yeah.
But I think Kershaw is a pretty big concern because he keeps getting injured.
Yeah.
So that's really worrying. And then I think Jensen is also really worrying because he's an elite pitcher. So having him with soreness, like if he does have something does happen and he has to get some sort of surgery, he'd probably be out for the entire season unless they wait till the end of the season. I mean, I don't know how bad it is, but it'll be interesting because he's such a vital part of their
very important part
of their bullpen. One of the best in the MLB at his position. So if I'm the Dodgers, I'm kind of worried, but I do think that they'll still win the division, and come playoff time, hopefully all 4 of them are ready to go, which is the main thing. So.
Yeah. So we look ahead to opening day now. It's looking like that there are 3 or 4 pitchers going to be their starter against the Diamondbacks, and that would be Kenny Maeda or Walker Buehler, 2 names that have been kind of. Well, Kenny Maeda has been good.
Yeah,
Walker Buehler has just kind of been a fill-in spot for a 4 rotation, which isn't bad. I don't know how I'm trying to say this, but are they a little pitching, like are they good at that spot, that rotation?
I think it's kind of something that's gone under the radar, is how
good their rotation was.
Yeah, and but if you really look at it, maybe it's not that good. I mean, it's something that hasn't really been a problem. I mean, maybe it won't be a problem this year, but it kind of looks like, looking at some of the guys and their numbers, like maybe, especially if Kershaw is not there, maybe they might not be that great.
Kershaw has been that great in the playoffs, but that's
that's
a topic for another day.
During the regular season, if he's not there for a good portion of the beginning of the season, they might struggle because
they did fall apart a little bit last year. People tend to forget that, even though they did end up winning the NL back-to-back.
They did, but they still bounced back, and there's no reason this team can't. They're so loaded. They should be okay, but maybe that's something that not enough people are looking at. In terms of their weakness, so I don't know. It'd be interesting. I'm excited to see what happens.
So yeah, back to back NL Dodgers winning the NL. I guess we'll find out.
I say no.
You say no.
I say no.
I say maybe. I say probably. So now we're moving to the Is He Worth It? We love this segment here on the Bullpen.
Oh yeah.
Where we research a player, we talk about it, talk about his contract, talk about his numbers, and we talk about if he is worth that money. Hit me with your player, Barrett.
All right, so he's got 6 years left on a 10-year, $225 million contract. No trade clause. The 10th year, there's a club option of a $7 million buyout. He's a 6-time All-Star, been an All-Star the past 2 years, .311 career batting average, .284 batting average last year. 3 years before that, he was .314 or better in batting average, 897 career RBIs. So obviously he's a great player, but he's got 6 years left, and he's 35 years old, and he's making $22.5 million a year over the next 6 years. So he'll be 41 when the contract is up. So
that's a yikes.
Yeah.
Well, older players are definitely. It's a topic that people like to discuss.
Because I mean, he's been having these past he's been really good despite batting. He batted I believe 320 something 3 years ago, and it wasn't an All-Star, which is kind of incredible. But
wow, I'm actually having trouble figuring out the player.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. It's Joey Votto from the Cincinnati Reds.
Wow.
I didn't realize how. I knew he was good, but he is really been incredible.
Joey Votto is a name I have not heard
in
years. I would say 2 years.
He's still got 6. He'll be 41.
He's still going at it, sounds like.
I know. He was an All-Star the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I think he might be worth it. 41 is old though.
My turn. All right. We got a 7-year, $214 million contract on here, Barrett.
Okay.
Last season, he only played 38 games, so his average was $299. I'm not going to go into his numbers, but he's definitely had some success in his past. He was Rookie of the Year, 11-time All-Star, 2-time MVP.
Wow. Okay.
He is 36 right now. By the end of this contract, he'll be 42.
42.
Going with the oldies again.
Oh, that's tough. I'm going to have to go with. That's really tough. I'm going to guess someone I guessed last week, Robinson Cano.
That is wrong. I was thinking about Cano. That is Miguel Cabrera.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say he's probably not worth it, but it is Miguel Cabrera. He's been the face of the franchise. Once you put the name in there, it changes everything.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We'll see how it happens, yeah.
We'll see what works out.
Looks like the manager's walking out, giving us the signal there at the mound. Thanks for joining us on the Bullpen. We'll see you next time on Monday, hopefully, if it doesn't snow or ice again. Thanks for watching.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Christian University. Get your master's degree in accounting, business administration, theology, engineering, computer science, or cybersecurity from Oklahoma Christian University. Apply at oc.edu/grad. Oklahoma University is committed to offering the best graduate school experience we possibly can. Come learn and grow with us. And The Table. Stop by The Table on Thursdays at 8 p.m. to join their Bible study. Shoot Rachel an email at rachel@thetableosu.com for more information. We'll be right back.
In my mind, I was never going to walk right again. Before we were through, we had walked 23 steps. And that was my first steps of freedom. This patient is saying thank you.
Welcome back into One-on-One, live from Studio 318 on Sunlink Channel 112. Thank you to the Bullpen, a phenomenal baseball segment. They will be back next Monday. So it's time to talk about the NBA, your favorite topic, Logan.
Yes.
Since we missed Monday, we're going to go back a little bit to what happened over the weekend. Trae Young got ejected. He dropped 49, 2 games before on the Bulls, and then has 18, but he stares down Chris Dunn and gets ejected. He did have one. He'd been teed up before that, him and Chris Dunn both. Do you think he should have been ejected for the stare down?
No, absolutely not. I'm not a fan of Trae Young, really, but that's ridiculous. I mean, what are we going, like, everyone talks about how soft the NBA is getting, and if stuff like this keeps happening, I'm going to have to start agreeing with people, because that's ridiculous. How are you going to stare? Chris Dunn had slapped him in the head earlier. That's why they both got teed up. Chris Dunn gave him a little upside the head.
Not quite hard enough.
No,
he's
probably
still
not.
dropping buckets.
And then he stares him down like that, and I'm sure maybe he said something. I don't think he did, but
the rule clearly states, Logan, you can't taunt a player. You can't showboat at another player. You can celebrate, but your celebration cannot be directed at an opponent.
That's a dumb rule.
It's the rule, though.
It's a dumb rule, though.
It's the rule, though.
The NBA's kind of their celebration rules aren't near as bad as what the NFL's were, but there's some ridiculous ones. Like, you can't do the bow and arrow. There's some crazy stuff. But no, I don't think he should have been ejected for that. And I think he did. I think, you know, like you said, they had played the night before. They had a quadruple overtime game where Trae Young dropped 49. So I'm sure the emotions were high between these two teams, and maybe the refs were just trying to control the game or something, but I don't agree with it.
Hopefully upstairs, if they can play that stare down one more time. I want to break down the stare down. If we can just get it played one more time by any chance. But if you notice, he goes in, he shoots it, and then he stares at Chris Dunn. And the second Chris Dunn starts to turn around, Trae Young just turns around and walks away. It's like, no, just kidding, man. I mean, the second he looked back, Trae Young was like, nope. No, just kidding. And then, of course, he got teed up and did get ejected. I agree with you. It's a little ridiculous. But that brings up my next topic. Trae Young, really emerged over the last 7 games. You see there, the 29.4 points, almost 10 assists. I mean, he's having pretty much a triple-double. I mean, not actually, but pretty close. Is he, I'm not saying taking it away from Luka, but is he at least now made it a conversation? Because a few weeks ago, a month ago, it wasn't even close.
It's still not close.
All right, Trae Young, 18.2 points, 7.8 assists per game. He's shooting 41.5 from the floor. Luka, 20.9 points per game, 5.5 assists, and shooting 43.4 from the floor. So the stats are still in his favor. What if Trae Young keeps shooting lights out like he has over the last couple weeks, since the All-Star break? Really.
And does Luka Doncic just drop dead? Like he doesn't play anymore?
He drops numbers that he keeps consistent. But if Trae Young is dropping 29, he's going to finish with better stats. And that's obviously going to be hard to do with close to 20 games remaining. It's going to be difficult.
I think Luka's he's just had a better overall season. I think that's what you can't – that's not an award post-February post All-Star break. It's a year-long award. Trae Young was awful for the first half of the season. It's just after this All-Star break he started to pick his stats up, pick his game up, and Luka makes a bigger impact on the game. You mentioned Trae Young basically is averaging a triple-double right now. Luka Doncic has the most triple-doubles by a teenager ever. He has 4 this year. I don't know how you can even – I guess you have to make it entertaining, and these guys are obviously going to be linked together for their whole careers because of the trade that went down and how good Luka is and how good Trae Young can be. But you cannot even compare the two right now. If you put Luka Doncic on this Hawks team, I almost did something bad, Reed. I almost just gave a really hot take. I'm not going to do it though. But they would be a lot better.
Do it.
They would have made the playoffs. With Luka Doncic, this Hawks team could have made the playoffs. The East is so bad.
What's the Hawks'
Who's
record?
the second?
What? Okay, let's drop a little baseball.
Okay.
What's his WAR, basically?
Okay.
I mean, how many wins is Luka Doncic truly worth? Because, listen, their stats are different, but not that different. Not that different, Logan. I mean, they would have been better. But what's the Hawks' record?
The Hawks' record is 22-43.
So they're what? How many games behind 8th place?
They are. Sorry.
No, you're good.
They're 8 games back.
So you think Luka Doncic is worth 8 wins?
Yeah.
Because Dallas is below. They're 27-36.
But they play in a tougher conference. And who's Luka's best teammate? And right now, an injured Kristaps Porzingis. And before that, Dennis Smith Jr.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, I mean, John Collins is actually pretty good. He's a solid player. They have some solid young guys on that Hawks team, and the Mavericks do now thanks to that trade they made. But I mean, Luka has just done so much more with so much less. I feel like
that's fair. I mean, that's
and the
fair.
East is so bad. That's
also fair. I don't know how they would make the playoffs, but I think they would be better. They would be better. I don't think you're totally insane for saying that. A little crazy, but not totally insane. But we will obviously – it's going to be interesting. I'm with you. I think Luka's probably got it secured unless something bad happens and Trae Young just goes completely off. Something bad did happen last night in Oakland, California, at least for the two-time defending champions Golden State Warriors. They lost by 33. Their worst home loss since 2009, the worst loss in Steve Kerr's coaching career. They lost to the down-and-out Celtics, really, 128-95.
Yeah.
I'm going to read the stat for you. You talked about Gordon Hayward earlier. The Celtics are 18-2 when he shoots 50% from the field. When he shoots less than 50%, they're 17-22. They need Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
They need him.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone thought when he was coming in a couple of years ago. They're like, him and Kyrie, they're a finals contender. And they probably were until that awful event happened last year in the first game of the season. And I just don't think he's back to himself yet. I think we'll see Gordon Hayward at full strength next year. I think that's when he'll come back from this injury and be who he was in Utah. But like you said, when he is good, when he has a good night, they're awesome. They're hard to beat. And I think it speaks to his character for him to come off the bench. Because he's a starter caliber player most of the time. But I don't know if it's a lack of confidence or if it's self-awareness that he's not 100% yet. He's accepted the bench role, and he's been really good for them off the bench. I think, isn't that the worst loss during the Steve Kerr era for the Warriors?
Yeah, it's Steve Kerr's worst loss. Their worst home loss since 2009.
Yeah, and I mean, are you worried about it?
No.
I'm not either.
I mean, this is great. I think it's really good for the Celtics' confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, Gordon Hayward had a phenomenal night. If he can play that way, I mean, drops 30 points, they're going to be a good basketball team. I mean, they're not a bad basketball team, but this is good for the Celtics because it does give them that confidence, but the Warriors couldn't care less.
Yeah.
I mean, if they played 7 games in a finals and the Warriors need to win every game, it would be a sweep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way the NBA works. If Golden State wants to beat somebody, this is great for Boston to hopefully give them some confidence, but I'm not. I don't take one game sample sizes for that much. I don't take that for data, as you would say, as the Knicks Knicks coach would say. I do not take that for data. One game's not a big enough sample size in the NBA. So, no, I'm not worried about Golden State. But I think it was a good move, a good night for the Boston Celtics, though.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of sucks because going into the year, I think we both said they would be the best team in the East. They'd probably make the finals. They're disappointing.
They should be.
They should. Do they have too many guys?
I don't know.
Too much talent?
I don't know what the problem is. I've been disappointed in Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much control he can have on these guys.
Yeah.
He's still one. I think he's the best X's and O's guy in the league. But he's clearly got a problem with motivation and talking to these guys.
Yeah. They got a lot of guys on this team that are used to playing high minutes, especially after last year's playoff run. Terry Rozier, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, Marcus Morris. All of those guys are used to being starters, and they're not even close to being the best player on the team. Like, that's still Kyrie and then Al Horford. Like, it's tough to manage all of those guys when they're all supposed to be – they all feel like they're supposed to be playing starter minutes. It's hard to get guys like that to come off the bench. And that's why I think you got to give credit to Gordon Hayward because he's willing to do that. But there's going to be a big change this offseason for Boston, whether it's they ship a lot of these guys out to get Anthony Davis or a lot of these guys are just gone, you know.
I mean, they're still 39 and 26. I mean, they're the 4th seed. I mean, do you think they can get it together enough to make a run? Because they have the talent. You think they can come together?
I think so. I hope these guys can at least pretend long enough to make some kind of run in the playoffs because they're so talented. It's hard to imagine this much talent being this. I can't even say they're not bad. I shouldn't say they're bad. They're just definitely not what they're supposed to be.
Right. Well, they're on a back-to-back tonight, playing a really good Sacramento team. So that if they can double down,
are they in
tonight,
Sacramento?
They are in Sacramento.
That's a tough game.
If they can double down tonight, then I think you'll start to see some change. But you have to worry about coming off the success, how they've handled things so far, whether they're or not they'll win. By the way, huge game in the NBA tonight. The 13-51 Knicks take on the 14-51 Phoenix Suns.
I'll be watching
at 8 o'clock. So make sure you've got your popcorn and
I
TV
will.
ready for that one. All right, I want to talk to you about the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay.
The State's team, right? They've lost 5 out of their last 6.
They have.
They've been really a disaster since the All-Star break. They should have lost to Utah. It took 2 overtimes and a Paul George miracle to win that game. Paul George gets injured. He comes back last night. They lose 131-120 to the not very good Minnesota Timberwolves. Granted, they're a lot better in Minnesota than they are on the road, but they still should be able to beat the Timberwolves.
They're a pretty good team. Ever since trading for Jimmy Butler, Karl Anthony Towns has been on a tear, especially since the All-Star break. They're a tough team to beat. I'm not saying they're gonna make their way into the playoffs, but they're tough to beat.
Well, I'm going to really quickly before you have to get out of here. The last few games, the centers that the Oklahoma City Thunder have played are Karl Anthony Towns that dropped 41 and 14. Valanciunas 16 and 13. Aldridge 27 and 10. Jokic 36, 10 and 9. Rudy Gobert 26 and 17. Steven Adams makes more money than Giannis, Kawhi, Aldridge, Kyrie, and Jimmy Butler. And that's his stats versus centers. They're getting gutted because of Steven Adams. Tell me I'm wrong, Logan. They're getting dominated at that position. He's a good player.
I would like to know their stats when he's the primary defender. I know you can't look that up right now, but he struggles against guys like Karl Anthony Towns. He's always struggled against, and Jokic, the guys that are lighter, faster, have a better skill set than him. He has struggled against those guys, but they've got to figure out something defensively.
Well, that's interesting. He makes a lot of money.
He does.
So we're going to take a quick break, come back and talk about everything going on in Oklahoma State athletics. We're right back after this.
One-on-One is brought to you by Oklahoma Air National Guard. Contact Oklahoma Air National Guard at 800-GO-TO-ANG or visit their website at goang.com/OK for more information about how to get 100% college tuition. And Unitarian Universalist Church. If you're looking for a church home, visit Unitarian Universalist Church of Stillwater, located at 320 South Stallard Street. They offer an alternative spiritual path and welcome all races, religions, and beliefs. They're also LGBTQ friendly. Services every Sunday at 10:30. We'll be right back.
Stillwater Medical Center now offers a convenient way to view your health information online. It's secure, easy, and free. Our hospital and clinic patient portals allow you to view results and reports, medications and allergies, track visit histories, view upcoming appointment information, and see your statements. To enroll, go to stillwatermedical.com and click on the patient portal link near the top right of the page. If you have questions, please feel free to call 405-533-6010.
Welcome into One-on-One on Suddenlink Channel 112. The Oklahoma State Cowboys, we mentioned, Logan, we did miss Monday, so we're playing a little bit of catch-up on what took place over the weekend. The Cowboys fall 72-67 to Kansas. They had Kansas on the ropes.
They did.
Down by 3, Lindy Waters had a wide-open three-pointer, and
it was too wide open.
Yeah.
I think it kind of spooked him that he was that wide open, and that's why he missed. Because I was there, I saw it. I had a pretty good angle of that last play, and I was wondering what the Kansas guy was doing. He totally just forgot Lindy had the ball, I guess, and left him so wide open in the corner. And unfortunately, he couldn't finish the play. He couldn't make the basket. But he was also banged up. He had to leave the game earlier with an ankle injury. Fought his way back. I don't know. Maybe they gave him what Aaron Rodgers gave him, or whatever they gave Aaron Rodgers, and he was able to go back and play. So it was a great game, like you said. They had him on the ropes up until the last couple of minutes and just couldn't force overtime.
They get 19 points out of Curtis Jones, 19 out of Cam McGriff.
He was awesome off the bench. I don't think he missed a three, did he?
Curtis Jones?
Yeah.
Let's see. No, he was 4 for 4.
Yeah.
7 of 9 from the field, 1 of 2 at the line. So a good performance for him off the bench. I think he's going to probably develop into a starting role next season or pretty close to that. He's going to play a lot more minutes. Obviously, help is on the way for the Cowboys. They fall to 10-19, but like we talked about earlier with that Texas Tech game, I mean, it's now a time where you're starting to collect those moral victories.
Yeah.
And this is another one that I think you can claim if you're the Oklahoma State Cowboys. You pushed one of the better teams in the Big 12 to the brink.
Yeah.
So,
hey, by the way, Kansas not going to win a share of the Big 12 regular season title for the first time in, 14-some years?
Since George Bush was president. Last time they won the Big 12, or didn't win the Big 12, excuse me, Les Miles was the head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
That's crazy.
Football team, obviously. Logan, how old were you in 2004?
I was, you're making me do math, Reed. You know, it's not my strong suit. I was 6.
6 years old when the last time they won that. By the way, the last team to win it outright, obviously now it's probably going to be Texas Tech and Kansas splitting it, or depending on what happens Saturday. But it's down to those two. The last team to win it besides Kansas were the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who made a run at the Final Four. So it has been a long 14 years that the Kansas Jayhawks have not won the Big 12, or at least a share of their title. You just have to give them props. That's an incredible run.
Absolutely.
And really, the fact now that you can, its season's not officially over, but they're going to make the tournament, but you can step back and look at their season as a whole. It's kind of incredible that they finished just 1 game behind.
Right.
Or 2 games behind it is.
They're terrible on the road, Reed.
Yeah,
they're terrible.
Well, they got blown out last night by the Sooners.
Yeah.
I mean, dominated.
I mean, on the road, they lose to West Virginia. They lose to Kentucky. That's a bit more acceptable. They lose to Texas on the road. They lose to K-State on the road, and they lose to Texas Tech on the road. And then they lost last night to the Sooners, like you said. Their road wins
68. They got blown out.
Yeah, their road wins include TCU, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and there was one more Barrett told me before the show started. Baylor.
It's not a good look if you're Kansas Jayhawks, but they lost. I mean, obviously, LeGerald Vick.
You got to wonder what this does to their tournament hopes.
Oh,
if you can't win on the road, are you going to lose in the first round?
I think I don't think they're a Sweet 16 team.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think Kansas. What seed do you think they're going to get? They're still 13th.
They'll get a high seed. They'll probably be. I could see them being a 5 or 6 seed.
I think they'll be a 4.
I think they'll get a 4. I don't think they're a 4. I don't think they're good enough to be a 4 seed, though.
No, I don't think they're good enough to be in the top 20. But ultimately, they're the Kansas Jayhawks, and they're dominant at home, and they do had that streak, so they're going to get more respect. I mean, they finished 11-6 in the conference. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy for the Kansas Jayhawks. But now you can turn our attention back to the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They're going down to Baylor, a team that they've struggled with mightily. I don't even know the last time that Oklahoma State beat Baylor. It's been at least a couple years.
Yeah.
I don't know that Brad Underwood ever beat Baylor. If he did, I mean, it seems like it's been forever. Oklahoma State has struggled, this season with the scoring streaks and letting teams go on a run. And by the way, they sustained a run from Kansas in the second half. They came back. You got to be impressed with that.
Yes.
But with this Baylor game, they lost 73-69 here in Galgariba the last time they played earlier in the season. So that's not about a 4-point loss at the time when Oklahoma State was 8-9. It seems like a long time ago.
Yeah.
But Cam McGriff had 15 and led the team in scoring in that game. Excuse me, Curtis Jones had 18, led the team in scoring off the bench. But now a lot of things are different. No Micah Weathers, obviously no Kalu. You still have Isaac Likely, but he didn't have any points in that game.
Right.
So now you're transitioning to this. It's later in the season. They're 19-10. So you would think there is some tournament hopes there for the Bears, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they still got to play in the Big 10 or Big 12 tournament, but there is some hope there for Baylor.
Yeah.
So they need this win. They can't take a loss from Oklahoma State. That would be detrimental to their tournament hopes. But what does Oklahoma State have to do ultimately? Because Baylor's defense has given them fits.
Yeah.
Given them fits in past games. What do they have to do to get a win down in Waco?
I think they gotta play smart. You gotta give the ball to Lindy and Thomas Zagwa and Cam McGriff, I guess, so he gets in a rhythm. But I think he's hurt. I don't know how effective he's going to be able to be on offense. But I think you gotta find a way to get the Zagwa some catch and shoot threes. Let Lindy handle the ball a little bit. And on defense, honestly, play the same way you played against Kansas and the week before. They've played great defense this whole year. That has never been an issue with the Cowboys. It's been the scoring that's been the main issue. So as long as you know Cam McGriff, Yorane, or Lindy, Desagua, as long as those guys don't foul out or get in foul trouble, there's always a chance. It may not be a great chance, but there's always a chance. So I think if they play smart defense and get their shooters open, they'll have a pretty good chance.
Well, as a matter of fact, talking about that chance, ESPN's giving him a 10.6% chance to win. Last week it was in Lubbock, it was 3.7, and they took the Red Raiders to overtime, which is a far better team. just the way they contended with Texas Tech and with Kansas, they've got to shoot the three really, really well. The ball has got to fall tonight in Waco. So I think they can do that. They've done it over the last 2 games. Obviously haven't been able to grab a win. But if they can break that zone of Baylor, Cam McGriffin can have a big game inside and allow Isaac Likely, Thomas Dzongwa, and Lindy to kind of shoot freely.
Yeah.
You could use a big game from Curtis Jones. Though,
if you can get a performance like you got at Curtis Jones you got on Saturday, you can win this game easily.
Yeah, they can win this game. It's going to be tough, especially on the road. And I said they've had trouble with this defense of Baylor. But if Cam McGriff can kind of dominate and get what he needs to get and let the other guys follow suit, there's a good chance. There's more than a 10% chance, I think, that Oklahoma State wins this game tonight.
Yeah, I'm just worried about Cam's health. That's been an issue for a while. I don't know how banged up he is. Lindy's banged up now. We'll have to see how his ankle is going into this game. But like you said, I think if they can kind of play through McGriff and open it up for everyone else, they have a really good chance.
Well, you're down to the final probably maybe 3 games here. You got this one in Waco and then
West Virginia.
And then the Big 12 tournament
And then the first game of the Big 12 tournament.
And, more if you win that. But they're going down the final stretch here, but need to have a good game down in Waco, kind of seal out the rest of the season. So watch Cowboys. They tip off at 8 o'clock on ESPN2. So keep talking. I have to revert back to the weekend because of that Monday miss. OSU softball was dominant in their sweep of Northern Iowa, Syracuse, and McNeese State in the OSU Tulsa Invitational. Got to be happy for Coach Gajewski and the Cowgirls with that one.
Absolutely, especially with the way sports has gone this year for the Cowboys and Cowgirls. You're happy to see this. Their closest game was 3-2. That first game against McNeese State. After that, they didn't win by less than 8 the rest of the weekend. So I mean, like you said, it's great. It's a great showing. Hopefully they'll have that game against Wichita State. I believe that's today actually at 5 p.m. So get out to Cowgirl Stadium and watch the softball team play. But it's looking good. And then they play Oregon, so hopefully they can keep this momentum going into Big 12 play, and I guess the rest of the season before Big 12 play.
That's right. Well, we're going to take a 47-hour break. We will be back on Friday with OSU or Ocala beat reporter for the wrestling team, Wade Haugen. So watch us on Friday. Thank you for watching today. We will see you then.
Determining your future by selecting a major can be difficult.
It's okay to be undecided.
Connect with the College of Arts and Sciences, where your options are endless.
Where you can uncover your passions and achieve your goals.
Express your creativity by exploring a career in the visual and performing arts.
Investigate new discoveries to make the world a better place with a career in science.
Advance knowledge, communicate progress, and contribute to a healthier planet with a career rooted in the social sciences.
Discover your career by looking at the world from different perspectives through the humanities.
Realize a better tomorrow through problem solving and mining data that can change lives.
CAS prepares you to succeed through internships, study abroad, student-guided research projects, and service activities.
With 109 majors, 52 minors, and 24 departments, the only thing missing is you. College of Arts and Sciences.
Connect.
Achieve. Succeed.
When you have a team of physicians and nurses that really truly care about their patients, that translates into patient care.
It's a small practice, it's a small town. Everybody really takes that time to put the patient first.
Everybody cares what's happening to me and that I'm making progress and I'm gaining my freedom back and my mobility back. This patient is saying thank you.
This spring, I invite you to shop in downtown Stillwater. Downtown Stillwater is home to locally owned shops, boutiques, eateries, and dependable professionals that you can trust. Find the perfect gift for your graduate, have a delicious meal with mom, or just stop in to enjoy great spring savings. By creating a demand for local goods and services, you can ensure a place for the local businesses that help give our community character and keep it unique. On behalf of downtown Stillwater, thank you for shopping local.